Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me know in chat if I am coming through all right. This is going to be a different one tonight, folks. I am completely remote, and that means I am not at home. I am in a remote setting. I'm actually in a cabin about 500 miles north of where I live, out in the middle of the woods. So my setup here is very minimal. I've got a different headset on. I don't have my normal mic. Um, I brought some of my stuff, not all. So this will be a little bit of a test run to see how it goes. Hopefully you all don't mind putting up with it, but that's how we got to do it because again, I am traveling until the 30th. Now remember, on December 2nd, we'll have another big giveaway stream where we're going to give away the Perseus live on stream. Um, let's see here. Blink twice if you need help. um, yes, no problem, Altzilla. My wife is amazing, and she was totally fine with me streaming today, even though it is our vacation. So that was awesome, and as always, she comes through. So. It's going to be a bit of a shorter stream. The drops are obviously activated, so you can rack up some drops time tonight as you're watching. This will not be a 4-hour stream though. More than likely, it's going to be about an hour and a half. Okay, I hope that's okay with everybody. I just don't, in my remote setup, I don't have as much time as I would like because it's not the most comfortable setup. Yes, Rabbit, I will definitely let her know. I definitely will let her know. Um, yeah, watch out for the damn Sasquatch. Exactly. So look, everybody, it's Drake Day. Okay, it is Drake Day, my favorite manufacturer. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to sort of spend our entire conversation today talking about Drake. Um, I realize my color is really bad. We're going to be talking about Drake. So we're going to be talking about the Clipper. We're going to talk about the Gollum Ox, but we're going to talk about the entire Drake line up of ships. Obviously, um, I actually like a lot of the manufacturers. Drake just happens to be my favorite. Yeah. So Titan Hunter says, dumb question, but was there a Clipper giveaway? I'm about to announce it. We haven't given anything yet away. We just started. Um, did give a salvation away. I still need to send that to the winner. Tonight we are giving away two giveaways. Actually, one giveaway tonight, and then we're doing another giveaway later in IAE. Okay, I gotta wait for something to come through. But tonight we are going to give away a Drake Clipper. So we're going to give away a Drake Clipper tonight. If you want to know how to, well, let's see. DB Heat says, Starjump Graham, after watching you for 2 years, I have picked up a Kraken during Wave 1 release. Well, congratulations on your Kraken. Salute to you. I know many other people having a lot of problems purchasing one, so congratulations to you. I own one. I don't regret it. I love that it's in development. So we're going to talk about the Kraken, though. We're definitely going to talk about the Kraken. Okay, so how do you get in on the Clipper giveaway? Well, if you're over on YouTube, you will see a link pinned to top of chat. That will take you to my new player guide video. All you got to do is leave a comment there. Maybe name a Drake ship, right? Clipper or Gollum or Kraken, whatever you want. But put a comment in there. Can be anything. And I'm going to pull a random name from there, okay? And your name will then go in the random wheel of names. If you're over on Twitch, all you have to do is do exclamation ticket or exclamation ticket space 10 to buy up to 10. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. So we're going to run it with the random comment on YouTube, and we're going to run it with stream elements. Okay. Hey, there's VMXCO. Everyone give VMXCO a salute. I have a question that VMXCO is the right person to answer, although I already know the answer, so I can answer it for him. So again, everyone, if you're just coming in, I am in a remote setting. I am not at home. I am in a cabin in the middle of the woods, so my stream setup is kind of temporary. Um, but I've had about 20 DMs today, all asking me when the Drake Clipper is hitting Starjump Fleet Viewer. So let me go ahead and answer that. VMXEO in chat does a lot of our does all of our flight ready ships, right? So if a new flight ready ship comes out, VMXEO is the one that takes the time to get that exported and all that good stuff for Fleet Viewer. Okay, it does require a lot of work. It's time consuming. It's challenging. So he is working on that. He's probably churning through all the ships though. Perseus, Gollum Ox, Clipper, Salvation, all that. So he's churning through all of them, and then he'll hand them over, and then I will conform and get them all prepped for Fleet Viewer integration. We'll then hand them over to Starjump Starlet, and she will push it to Fleet Viewer. Okay. There are some steps though that have to happen, and we are working on it. So this is why it takes a little bit of time though, because it's not just a rip it from the game, convert it, throw up on the site. It does require some working time on our side. So everyone give VMXEO an '07. I'm actually going to put something in chat right now. I'm putting VMXEO's Ko-Fi link in chat. Please, please, please make sure you go donate to VMXEO, give him a little bit of that support, show him that you appreciate all the hard work he's done. I can tell you right now, um, without VMXEO, there would definitely be no Starjump Fleet Viewer. Okay, so as he says there, it'll be done when I get to it. So obviously, VMXEO likes working on the new ships just like anyone else, but we juggle our jobs and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for the patience. Okay. All right. So we have the Fleet Viewer, or sorry, we have the Clipper giveaway going on. That'll happen through Stream Elements if you're on Twitch, random comment if you're over on YouTube. I'll put both of you in the random wheel of names like we always do. And from there, someone will win a Clipper tonight. Okay. So hopefully you like that. Next thing, I just want to remind everybody, that the Perseus giveaway is still going on. That goes on until December 2nd. Just follow the Gleam link down in chat that I just posted, the Gleam IO link, and that will take you to the page where you can get into the giveaway for the Perseus on the 2nd, and we'll give that away live on stream. Distroy, nice to see you too. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to. Oh, by the way, I did start this stream a little early. I apologize about that, but you know what? I wanted to get it done, do my hour and a half, and honestly, kick the feet up, crack open a drink, and relax. Hopefully, you all understand I am on vacation. So, um, all right, let's see here. I'm going to grab a few more things here. Again, one more time, everybody. Throw in VMXEO's coffee link in chat. Buy the dude a cup of coffee. Support him. Uh, Donate to him. Again, there's a lot of effort and work that goes into processing these ships for Fleet Viewer, and without him, we wouldn't be able to do it. So VMXEO is like a brother and an awesome dude, really nice guy, and appreciate him. Okay, so let's kind of get to some stuff now. I'm gonna switch scenes here. Gonna switch scenes. Thank you for the subscriptions, by the way. Thank you for the yes, and VMXEO's coffee link does have high-res ship cutaways if you're a fan of those. If any of you saw the Clipper page, you have seen the amazing cutaway they did there, and you'll be pleased. You'll be pleased by what CIG put out on the cross-section department, the cutaway department, and VMXEO likes to do them as well. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch over now. Let me get my thing right. Okay. Oh man, it's so weird working on my laptop. So I'm streaming from my laptop today, everybody. This is not how I normally do it, as I have said a few times, but this is how we're going to do it. Hopefully you all don't mind putting up with it. Where is my mouse? There it is. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into it. Obviously, and I'll try to grab questions, but I might be a little slow on the uptake. But I'll try to grab them. I did get one question. We'll go ahead and answer that one here. Simon Wolf says, as it is Drake Day, is it possible to buy a digital concept JPEG of your forthcoming Kraken Captain mug? So I did design a Kraken Captain mug that doesn't use any CIG artwork or images or IP, but it's a Kraken Captain mug. That is going to be up on the Starjump store. when the Starjump store launches, which will be in December. So in December, Starjump store launches. It will have the Kraken Captain mug, if I can say that correctly. So yeah, you will be able to get that along with the Starjump hats, Starjump Yetis, and all that kind of good stuff. High quality stuff. Okay, let's talk about the ships. Drake Interplanetary, we're going to swing on down here. Now, obviously, there is the Drake Clipper. Obviously, there's the Gollum Ox. We're going to talk about those. We're going to go in depth on them. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and skip on down and get the other stuff out of the way first. So first off, did anyone listen to the Drake Interplanetary Teaches Ship Shop podcast episode today? I did not get to listen to it, and what I need to know is, did they say anything interesting there regarding other Drake ships such as the Ironclad or Kraken? Crusader Maximilian, thanks for that question. The answer is yes and no. I do not have it running tonight, but I am plugged in with Piggles, who does the bot for them. He's doing the bot for me as well. It's currently being worked on. So a lot of times when I stream, Piggles has not been on, so I can't run the bot, but very, very soon it will be a regular part of my show. Um, so what's funny is so DB Heat says yes, nothing new. What is everyone's thoughts on the Teaches Ship Shop episodes? I've been a little bit disappointed. I can see the production effort CIG put into it, um, and I do appreciate that because it is high production values, and the voice acting's great, the recording's good, it has a lot of vibe and stuff. I just wish they would have put more Easter egg stuff in there. Um, that gave us a little insight into future ships. I think that's the biggest disappointing the biggest disappointment with it. Um, let's see. Viga says, "Wait, so how do we enter for a chance to win chance at a clipper? All you need to do is hit exclamation ticket, or exclamation ticket space max, and that will give you tickets, Vigoth. If you haven't followed the channel, you might need to follow the channel to get some initial tickets, but yeah, that's all you got to do. Um, Actually, Vigoth, you already have tickets, so you're good. You good. You're good. You're in the giveaway. Um, so yeah, I'm a little disappointed in it, but honestly, I I think there's still hope on Monday that CIG could say that there's going to be a ship discussion, Star Citizen Live, with Ben Curtis and John Crew. It's not looking like there will be, but maybe there will be. In past IAEs and past Invictuses, we always get that. Um, if they don't, if they don't do that at all, then we're really getting to a place where CIG has really pulled back the communication on some of this ship stuff. And for me personally, I really dislike it. It's people like myself execute over info runners, nonstop bops, and Dusty Star, and all of us. We really rely on that type of content. So it's sad not to get it. Gin and Tonic says, "Isn't Ship Talk usually just at CitizenCon?" Nope, it's at all three events. They've done IAE Ship Talks. They've done They always do an Invictus Ship Talk, usually a pretty big one. This year they did add the Ship Showdown Q&A, which was great. Um, but yeah, I do feel overall there's been a pullback on communication. We didn't get the silhouette video this year, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm not trying to say the sky is falling, but it would have been nice to get a little bit more. But let's remember, we still have almost a week and a half or 2 weeks left of IAE. Um, and on Monday of next week here, they could, in the coming this week thing, announce a ship discussion show. So that's very, very possible. Thog Artensis question: I'm debating upgrading to the Ironclad versus the Ironclad Assault. What would you recommend? Well, I think it has a lot to do with what you want to do in game. If you want to be more of a cargo runner, if you want to focus on that, maybe even pirating. I would say the base Ironclad is really nice because its ability to run cargo, and it has the big open hangar where you can throw stolen cargo in really nice or really quickly. Um, so yeah, I would say if you're a cargo runner or just a very general purpose player, the base Ironclad. If you're planning on doing any sort of combat or any operations, whether it's pirate, ground operations, support, anything like that, where there is combat involved, I would say the Ironclad Assault. I have both, and I'm kind of waiting to see where they land to figure out which one I'm going to keep personally. Um, Okay, so moving off of that, the Vulture is the Warbond CCU, the Warbond Daily Deal today. I mean, look, you can't go wrong with the Drake Vulture. I've said many, many times it's one of my favorite ships. I actually still think I would love to know CIG's numbers on this, but I still think the Vulture is one of the more popular industrial ships in the entire game for sure. Um, uh, let's see here. Simsotag Gaming. Hopefully I said that right. Question, I can't remember. Does the top open on the Assault? Yes, it does. We'll go through the ships real quick and then we'll swing back up to the Clipper and the Golem. Thanks everybody for being patient. Again, if you want to get in on that giveaway, if you're over on YouTube, there's a link pinned to the top of chat. Go there, leave a comment. Can be hi, hello, whatever. I'll pull a comment from there, and then if you're on Twitch, do exclamation ticket. I'm going to put your name, both of your names in the random wheel of names, okay? Dayman says, question, Grim, we always get a big ship at the end of IAE. What the over under on that being the Javelin released to Hype Squadron 42? What's the over under on that being the Javelin released to Hype Squadron? Essentially, you're asking if the Javelin could possibly be released to backers on Aegis Day, which is the final day. I would like to say yes, but the more and more I think about it, I think what we're looking at is a situation where CIG is going to more than likely more they're more than likely not going to do anything really interesting that day. I think Aegis is the last day simply because they have the most ships to sell, and there's two hull limited ships also that are sold during the during the Aegis phase of IAE. So they don't really have to do much with it. Look, if they drop the Javelin on Aegis Day, I'm going to tell you right now, it would be massive. It would be just a huge, huge deal. What a big milestone. What a big backlog ship checked off. CIG said in the past that it would come after Squadron 42. Obviously, a lot has changed, but we'll just have to see. Going through a few of these ships here, the Buccaneer, really cool ship. I think it does have some issues right now, but at the same time, what I've heard from a lot of my space combat friends is that when the Buccaneer is paired up with another combat ship, it really, really shines. But on its own, it does have problems. Now, I'm not a primarily combat pilot, and I definitely haven't done it in a while, so I can't speak too much on it. Design-wise, though, I do like the Buccaneer. If I could change one thing, it would be to change sort of the front end canopy just a little bit. But I am a big fan of the Buccaneer, and probably will earn one in game at some point. $110 for that ship. Not too bad. Again, it does fluctuate with the meta a little bit, but not too bad. I would like it if it was more like in the $90 range compared to some of the other fighters out there, but that's what it currently is, $110. Um, the Caterpillar. So the Caterpillar is a tricky one. It is a ship that right now has serious, serious problems. I do think CIG will do a pass one day with the Caterpillar, but I think the Caterpillar is going to get a pass much like the Aegis Reclaimer, where quite a bit is going to change internally. They're not just going to, add the gold standard stuff. I think the ship is going to have a lot of changes just throughout to make it fit gameplay better. When that happens, it'll be worth every penny. Um, hey, there's Thrusters and Dusty Star. Dusty Star, hope you're well. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Salute to you. He says, "Evening, Graham. The Buck is such a great design. Loving the Clipper too. Yeah, me too. I love the Clipper. We're gonna get into that one very soon. I like the Buccaneer design. It is really cool. I wish I could tweak a few things, but it's pretty nice. Um, Again, everyone, if you ask a question, I will try to grab it and put it in my question list and circle back to them. Okay. Um, but yeah, Caterpillar, I think once it gets that update, it's going to be worth it. You know what I mean? It's going to be worth it at that point. It's a lot like the Carrack. Once the Carrack gets its update, I think it'll be finally worth it. You Drake Clipper, we're going to get to that. Price was a little higher than I think some people were expecting. I'm okay with the price, and I'm going to go into why here shortly. Although the ship does have a few issues that could be problematic, but we'll talk about that. Corsair, one of my favorite ships, and actually one of my favorite ships for the dollar amount. I think what you get for the Corsair based off the $250 price point is actually really, really good. I put that in the same category as like the Mercury Star Runner or something like that. It is for what you're getting for the money, it is a great deal. Um, yeah. Um, Catching up on a few questions here, everybody. Let me just grab those. Stand by. Again, if I miss a question, I apologize. Altzilla question, have you seen the funding tracker recently? It looks like CIG has already or will very shortly surpass the previous year. So I did check it, and it does look like they did officially pass it. Yeah, at least from what I could tell. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they did. Um, VMXEO says, I should get a clipper, but I am holding off for a similar super starter from another manufacturer, Consolidated Outland maybe. VMXEO, I think it very well could be that medium Consolidated Outland ship that was in the silhouette. Now I'm starting to think it could be that, and that would be really cool. Victor Hall says, do you think the Golem hull will get a fueling variant, fuel starter? Yes, I do. At some point, I do. Um, Let's see here. Thrusters and Dust said, Dusty Star says, do you think the price of the cat will go up with detachable command module? Um, no, I don't think it will, only because that was always part of the deal um, with the Caterpillar. It was always part of the plan. So in my opinion, people have already paid for the command module. It's just CIG hasn't put it in the game yet. So no, I don't think it'll go up. Now I think it could go up when it gets its like redo pass. I think that could definitely happen. By the way, everyone, we have a great turnout tonight. We have 142 on Twitch and 123 on YouTube. Amazing. Thank you very much. That is incredible. Um, Skywatch says, hey, Grim, do you think the Clippers features med crafting table is a look into the Caterpillar modules? Possibly. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the Clipper for sure. John Shea says, isn't the Clipper the Explorer the Corsair was claimed to be? Um, Kind of maybe. I think there's some interesting comparisons there. I think the Corsair CIG sort of, um, I think they're sort of focusing that on being literally an explorer and not an all-arounder. So it's an interesting distinction CIG makes there. The funny thing is, the Corsair I feel like should have a med room uh, for its exploration, side. But the same could be said for like a crafting suite and stuff like that. To be quite honest with you. Let's see here. Cutlass Black. We're not going to spend a lot of time on these, everybody. The Cutlass Black, fantastic ship. Um, to me, this is one of the best ships in the game. I still fly it all the time. It's still a go-to. It's got a lot of awesome paints. 110 value for $110 for what you're getting value-wise is great. It's a great multi-crew ship. I think CIG is definitely. Actually, let's look at that real quick because I'm curious. Um, can I just open the tab here? I want to look. So what do they classify this ship as now? I thought they would show it on here. No, they don't. I think they classify this as like a fighter now, but I don't know. But yeah, I can't recommend the Cutlass more. It's a great ship. Definitely give it a chance if you haven't already. This is the ship that is a lot of people's first step into the Drake cult. So yeah, Cutlass Blue. This is the bounty hunting variant of the Cutlass, also pretty popular. Hudson Hawk says Starjump Graham multi-medium freight. Interesting. So they do consider The Cutlass of Freight. See, I consider the Cutlass an all-rounder. Um, Maybe not versatile, which is the new role they're giving ships, but all-rounder is probably, yeah. Um, yeah, so best canopy, Gin and Tonic says on the Cutlass Blue. Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's a pretty cool canopy. But the Cutlass Blue, yeah, it's a cool ship. I like it. It's specifically for bounty hunting and interdiction stuff like that. By the way, you can fly all these right now during the free fly. Okay, and remember, if you do the free fly, please, please, please use my referral link. I really appreciate it. If you're starting a new account, I am trying to make my way up to a MISC Raptor. Cutlass Red, this is the Space Ambulance. This is a medical focused ship. Obviously, with this one, um, for $135, it's probably a little pricey compared to what you're getting in the Apollo for its price point. This is much more decreased than that, but it's about, was it like half the price? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. So I don't know. The Cutlass Red is just a lot less appealing now with ships like the C8R and the Apollo being in game. Mercury says it does have the best wee woo lights in the game though, so hey, that's something. So, um, Offset Studio says, what is your referral count at the moment? You know what? We're gonna look that up. It's not high. How much how many referrals do you all think I have? That's the question I want to ask. And then I want to surprise you. Let's look. Let's see. Let's see. How many do you think I have? Grumpy Mando says 6. Hudson Hawk says 3. Spiegel says 20. DB Heat 4. Quinn 3. No one's got it yet, by the way. Rage 1 says 7, 23, 31, 41, 12. No one's got it yet. No, nope, nope, nope. Okay, do you all want to see my referrals? Let's just throw it over. That way you can see. Um, I have 2 recruits. That's all I got is 2 recruits. My next reward will be 3. My next reward will be 3. So think about that. As much content as I make, and I just did a new player guide. Um, I've got 2 recruits. And yes, I did do the one to get the dragonfly. But kind of shows you how hard it is to get recruits. I'm sure a lot of you can sympathize with that. It is really really difficult to get recruits. Um, yeah, it's really hard. Look, hey, if the referrals were based off how many ships I've probably sold for CIG with Starjump Fleet Viewer, probably me and VMXEO both could have 10 javelins at this point, but it just doesn't work that way, and that's okay. That's okay. It just it just doesn't work that way. Yeah, I'm hoping the new player guide will pay off a little bit. I heard from I think it was Space Tomato said it was a big yeah, like it really helped him. So we'll see. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Um, Okay, next ship here, Cutlass Steel. Again, it's a drop ship. I don't like drop ships in general. I just don't totally see their relevance quite yet, but I think they will have some relevance in the future. This is obviously a pretty pricey bump up to get this ship, so you have to really want A, drop ship gameplay, and B, really like the Cutlass platform. Again, I don't know if I don't know if that's something that will appeal to most people though, right? So it is expensive. Drop ships in general are expensive. The Prowler, the Valkyrie, etc. So it's a hard one to recommend. We'll just look at all 3 of these. The Cutter series, 45, 50, and $50 on those 3 variants. Really popular ship. CIG's even said this is a very popular ship. Um, I recommend them. Great, really cheap. They do a lot. I think this is probably the best all-rounder starter ship, in my opinion. I still think 45 and 50 for the other variants is an absolute steal. Um, So yeah, I can't recommend those enough. Dragonflies, yeah, they're fun. They're fun. Can't say much about those. Again, thank you everyone for the follows and subscriptions. Appreciate it. Gollum, great starter. We're going to talk about the variant tonight. Gollum is a industrial mining ship, but it is a starter version, so it's got you know, I think I don't want to go through all the stats because I don't have it all up and ready, but Gollum is essentially what it seems to be is going to be the new sort of uh, variant platform, much like the Cutlass, much like the Cutter, for Drake, that sort of focuses on industrial things. So cargo hauling, mining. It wouldn't shock me if we get a refueling variant of the Golem at some point. Again, it's kind of their industrial variant platform. Genetonic says think they'll make a Smeagol variant. It's very possible. Very, very possible. By the way, everyone, thank you for the support tonight. We have 165 on Twitch and 133 on YouTube. If everything looks weird, I am streaming from a cabin in the woods, and that is not a lie. I'm on vacation right now with my wife. She let me stream tonight. This is not my normal setup, so thank you for bearing with me. Um, Gollum. Okay, Gollum Ox, we're going to talk about that in just a second. Herald, $85. This is a medium data ship, so data runner. It did just get some additional functionality recently. Thank you, Malkiri. It did just get some additional functionality. Its scanning array can pop out now, which is really cool. That led, I know, Execute to think that maybe data running gameplay was coming, and I would agree with them. It makes it feel like they're starting to focus on that or something is coming, but we haven't seen scanning or data running kind of get any closer. CIG hasn't talked about it. I would think that if it was coming, CIG would have talked about it during CitizenCon. But again, that was not the case. So Herald, though, pretty cool. Its look and shape is definitely going to appeal to some people and not appeal to others. So, you know. Ironclad and Ironclad Assault. Let's talk about the Ironclad first at $450. $450. It does carry 1,500 something SCU of cargo. It's got a unique way of carrying that cargo. I, from that alone, think that that puts this ship in a really good place from a cargo um, carrying standpoint. Carries a lot and it's easy to load because it's got multiple ways to load via ramp and on the top. It has command module feature tech on it, so you can detach the command module, use that to fly around. Um, it's going to be one of those ships that it either appeals to you from a look standpoint or doesn't appeal to you from a look standpoint. For me, it absolutely appeals. So this was a huge ship when they announced it that grabbed my eye. I think there's been a lot of excitement for the Ironclad, and if you're one of those people that is wondering when we're going to get the Ironclad, um, while I can't say for certain, I do think it's about a 95% chance we're getting it at DefenseCon at the end of May next year. Okay. That would really line up with some of the development they've been doing. It would line up with the feature tech work that's been going on with the command module. The ship is now in gray box with using the Drake kit, which puts it in a really good timeline to kind of finish around May. Obviously, stuff can go wrong, but I think it's looking good for the Ironclad. Now, for almost $100, well, not quite $100, about $85 more so, you can move up to the Ironclad Assault. Now, the Ironclad Assault does have heavy armor on it, so it has a more armored profile. It has extra turrets here. You can see those on the bottom. It also has the same command module tech, but it does have slightly less cargo, but still a lot. I forget the exact cargo capacity on the Ironclad. Maybe someone in chat, or the Ironclad Assault, maybe someone in chat can mention it. But part of the cargo area has been transformed into sort of a vehicle repair bay. And I think we're going to get maybe a crafting station of some sort on there. Okay. So that alone is going to be a big deal. Bingo says no tractor beams on it. That is true. No tractor beams. The interior of the Ironclad Assault, which is a 1152 SCU, is really more meant for, I think, vehicle transport. But again, you're going to have the grid there and going to be able you're going to be able to use that for cargo, of course. So Ironclad, it is a big price jump. Um, but you'll have to, that'll be up to you if that's worth it. A couple questions here. Citizen Ninja says, can the Star Kit and Dragonfly be upgraded? Does it take CCUs for a regular Dragonfly? I don't know, but we might be able to try it. We might be able to try it tonight, just to see if it works. Hepford says, you can check if your Star Kitten can be upgraded, like is a rare item. We'll check that. We will check that. That is something we could probably check. I won't go fully through with it, but we can check it. Aroma7 says, question, I started with the launch of the Paladin with the CCU game, but I'm really afraid that the ships in the line get much more expensive like the Ironclad. Do you think the price hikes of the Ironclad, Holdy, etc. will mess up a lot of the CCU chains? Well, I'll go ahead and tell you the CCU chains are very challenging to figure out. I stopped sort of keeping up with them myself a while back, but those price increases probably do affect it. Yeah, they probably do affect it. Fan Man says you can't upgrade it, and that is what I've heard, by the way. You can't upgrade the Star Kitten Dragonfly. Um, let's see here real quick, everyone. Stand by. Yeah. Okay. By the way, one, do not forget if you want to get in on the Drake Clipper giveaway. If you're on Twitch, you just do exclamation ticket or exclamation ticket space max. If you're on YouTube, you just go to the link pinned to the top of chat. Okay. I'm going to leave a comment on that video that's pinned to the top of chat. I'm going to pull one random comment. I'm going to take the Stream Elements winner. I'm going to put you both in the random wheel of names. We'll spin it live on stream and you will win. The winner of that will win a Drake Clipper. Okay. Um, all right, moving along here. Last but not least here, well, actually not last, we have the Drake Kraken. Obviously, this is a hull limited ship. There was a few waves today. A couple of you were able to get them. A couple of you were not. It is industrial multi-role light carrier. This is a monster at 270 meters. This is a big, big ship. This is the Drake capital ship. Kind of the aircraft carrier in space. I've got a whole Shipyard episode on the Drake Kraken that deep dives that and why I think it is worth the money. And obviously that's subjective, but why I think it's worth the big price tag. I go into all the details that I think are really great selling points for the ship on that Shipyard video, so make sure you check that out. Obviously, the Kraken Privateer, this is the NPC Marketplace gameplay variant of the Drake Kraken. It has a lot of the benefits the Kraken has. The only thing I would say is that the question mark on the Privateer is Furious EC, how do you get tickets? You can get a lot of tickets just by following. And if you do exclamation ticket and it says you've already maxed out or you can't buy anymore, then it means you've already got tickets. But we've yet to see how successful marketplace gameplay will be, and if the marketplace gameplay will be able to sort of pay for the upkeep costs of the Kraken, which is going to be a big deal, right? Because the privateer does lose a lot of cargo space, like Quinn is saying. You're sacrificing a lot of cargo space for the marketplace gameplay. So, you really have to figure out what is most worth it to you. Okay. Glassdoor says, can I buy the privateer kit when I already own the Kraken base? Yes, you can. When you have the Kraken base on the store page, you will see open up the Kraken privateer kit, which I think, let me see if I stand by here. Let me just look real quick, because sometimes it's on here. Yeah, so you can see right here, since I have the Kraken, for example, since I have the Kraken, there's a few things listed on the add-ons page. Obviously, the Idris T and K kits, but specifically down here is the Drake conversion kit. The Drake conversion kit does take your base Kraken to a privateer. It does include lifetime insurance, by the way. and it just lists as a conversion kit here. So yes, you will be able to do that. In game, you will be able to go back from privateer to base Kraken, but it will cost money and time. Okay. Um, Drake Mule, ground vehicle, don't need to waste much time there. Last one here, Vulture. As I've said before, this, yes, war bond only, 90s, war bond only for the privateer or the privateer kit. Um, the Vulture is definitely one of the more useful industrial ships in the game. I highly recommend it. It's a good price point for the amount of money it can generate for you in game through salvage gameplay. So the Vulture is a ship I do recommend. And if you're, especially if you're looking to get into salvage, but also just industrial gameplay in general, the Vulture is a great ship to have in your fleet, 100%. Hudson Hawk says, Grim, before the Perseus release, you could upgrade from the Perseus to the Nautilus for a $10 war bond. But now the Perseus is more expensive than the Nautilus. What do you think? If I already have that purchased upgrade, is it still possible to use it, or will it be considered a downgrade? So it's only, um, you know, so you have a Perseus to Nautilus CCU. If you already own it, you will be able to apply it and still get the Nautilus because I mean the tricky thing to think about though is you got to think of the you got to think of the end price of the Nautilus, right? With the end price of the Nautilus, the Nautilus is probably going to be higher than the Perseus when it gets its flight ready price. It's probably going to be around 850 if I had to guess. And that is so you're still kind of saving money there. But I actually don't really know. That's a great question. That is a great question. A couple more questions here. Um, let's see here. I started with the Armo 7 says I started with the launch of the no, got that question already. Miles Lynch says, when will the Drake Clipper be available in Fleet Viewer? Sorry if this was answered before. I'm just tuning in. Not a problem. It is being worked on by VMXEO and myself. So the new ships are being worked on. Um, they'll come as soon as we can. I am looking at a way to put ships into Fleet Viewer in a temporary state. Me and Starlet have talked about that before the final models are ready, but we haven't got a solution for that yet, but we're thinking about something. But as soon as VMXEO has them, he'll send them to me. I'll process them for Fleet Viewer and we'll get them up. There were some Drake gear packs here, nothing too crazy there. We don't need to spend too much time there. They did have the Coalfire paint, the Mule Smokestack paint, which is a concierge thing, available. And then they had two limited paints for the Clipper. One was the Regatta, and the other one was for the, or sorry, one limited edition paint for the Clipper, which was called the Regatta, and one limited edition paint for the Gollum, which was called the Cipher. Both really nice paints, actually. Um, okay, now it's time to talk about the new ships. Is everyone ready? Let's get into the new ships. Here is the Drake Clipper. I guess I'll hand it over to you all in chat. What was your initial impression? Sound off. Let's do like an impromptu. Let's do an impromptu poll real quick here. If you like the Clipper, press 1. If you dislike the Clipper, press 2. Let's see what people say. I am very curious. Um, Shakugalinen Staff 121 says, question, do you think we'll see the Arastra soon? I doubt it. I kind of doubt it. I think the Arastra and the Galaxy are going to be coming later. I think CIG's got a lot of Drake and Consolidated Outland ships are going to push through this year. Okay, seems to be kind of a healthy mix, but a lot of people do like the Clipper. One second, everybody. But everyone does it. I really like the design. Um, I love this cutaway. Isn't that cutaway so cool? It looks like one of those games you do. That's a that's the cutaway games where you like build a bunker or something like that. Um, let's see here. Sorry, I'm juggling something here real quick, everyone. Apologies. Says Clipper on your own terms, single pilot, multi-purpose. Seclude yourself and exclude expectations. The only path to follow is your own. Introducing the Drake Clipper, a singularly a singularity in the landscape of space travel, as unique and varied as your daily hustle, with the goods and gear to see you through almost anything from fabrication to hauling to combat and more. So step out alone and find purpose, adventure, and yourself in this master of trades. Um, I love the design of it. Next, we're going to watch the trailer. Okay, we're going to watch the trailer here. Hopefully, the volume doesn't blow you out. Here we go. There's that cutaway. The music is great. Break loose, fly free. Okay, there it is. Oh, 1 second, everybody. My daughter was messaging me. So there it is, the Drake Clipper. If you want to enter the Clipper giveaway tonight, by the way, super easy. If you're on Twitch, just do exclamation ticket. If you're on YouTube, just go to the link pinned to top of chat. It's one of my videos. Leave a comment there. I'm going to pull the winner from Twitch, the winner from YouTube. I'm going to put you both in the random wheel of names. We're going to spin it, and one of you will win a Drake Clipper tonight. So yeah, really cool. Let's switch back over to the ship page here. I love the design, very unique design, something we haven't quite seen from Drake yet in terms of the fuselage. Obviously, the wings very reminiscent of the Corsair. If you're a fan of the Corsair and its asymmetric wing system, then you will dig this quite a bit as well. It says here, plot your course, alone time, single-handedly take charge of your own destiny, a free thinker's dream. This generalist ship makes room for many skills, but only one captain. So stock up, strap in, and fly like you own the sky. Really kind of interesting here why CIG, or how CIG is sort of really taking notice of the group of players that play solo, right? Um, there's been a lot of talk of engineering, a lot of talk of multi-crew gameplay, all that kind of stuff. There's been a lot of concerns from people about multi-crew gameplay and you know, having to have so many friends and this and that and the other. But this ship here alone shows that CIG is not forgetting about the solo player. That the solo players are not just relegated to combat fighters. Okay, we've seen with ships like the Salvation, the Gollum. There's a solo player focus on industrial stuff, and then with the sort of the generalist player that wants to do a little bit of everything, like VMXEO is saying there, CIG is really focused in on them now with this ship, and hopefully we'll see more of that. Where it's not just a bare bones ship, you can go do a few things. They're giving the ship some real value, okay? With this one, they put a med bay in it and a crafting station. Those two things alone make this a really special ship. You know what I mean? And one of the perfect ships to recommend to a new player who doesn't really know what kind of game or what side of the Star Citizen gameplay loop they want to explore. You know what I mean? If you don't know that they want to play with friends or a big org or anything like that, this really is the perfect all-rounder now. And for 150, I still think it's a good deal. I was hoping it was going to be around 130, but when you compare it to other ships like the Cutlass Blue, the Cutlass Red, and what you're getting the medical, you're getting the crafting, you're getting a little bit of cargo. It starts, when you start to think about it, it really does fit within the 150 price range really well. Um, Again, upper and lower engineering, habitation, of course, and cockpit. This amazing cutaway, which I think is incredible. It looks like a game. I want to play this game. The star, this the CIG spaceship cutaway game, really cool. Um, Man, they did a bang up job with engineering. It's really interesting seeing the ship cut away like this. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, not literally, but just in the vibe. It's got a little bit of like, it's like Drake's version of the Raelin in that it's got these stacked multi-levels within kind of a compact ship. It's not a capital ship, but it's got 3 levels, sort of like the Raelin. I think the Raelin's got 3 or 4 levels, and it's considered a medium large ship. Um, it's just the vibe is there. I think it's really cool. Again, some of the special amenities there, medical bay, fabrication, and cargo hold. Oh, who said it in chat? Fallout shelter. Yes. Ubistat. Yes. It reminds me of Fallout shelter. Yes. That's so cool. Um, some more images of it. Again, you wouldn't think it would be attractive, but the way they designed it, the super tall, thin body with the super horizontal, thin wings, it really just works. John Shade 1642 says, question is an actual introvert. They got the music backwards. That weird stuff for most is not the correct vibe. What you would listen to while in Quantum, and what would you listen to? You know what? If I was in Quantum in the Clipper, I'd probably listen to some synth music. It'd probably be some like dark synth. Um, got the let's look at the paints here as we always do. Here's the base paint. Some really nice paints here. It's a factory standard. The next one is the Apis, which I love. If you're a Drake fanboy, you've got to get the Apis. It's the black and yellow. You got to. There's no question. Can't really do anything about it. It's just law. Firewall, which is really cool. I feel like this one is really just meant to tease Execute a bit because he loves his red paints. So I don't know if he did, but I have a feeling that he had to get this paint, just had to. Um, Next one is the Holt camo. So here's the thing. I usually do not like camo patterns on ships. This is the first one I like. It just works. It looks good on the ship. It's a really nice pattern. I really dig it. I think CIG did a great job on that one. Um, the Regatta. This is the time limited paint right here. Yeah, right. Yeah, limited edition. This is the time limited paint. Really cool. This is the one that it has on the show floor. If you've gone to IAE, the IAE event and went to the show floor and looked at it, this is the paint that it's currently rocking over there. And then last but not least, we have this Cerulean, which is that is the Chairman's Club concierge paint that you can get, which I also really love, kind of a blue cerulean blue kind of look to it. Very pretty. Um, I really hope this is a bit of an insight into the sort of paints we're going to get for the Kraken and the Ironclads. I really hope so, because that would be fantastic. I would love a cerulean version of paint for the Kraken. That would get me super excited. Um, but the factory standard is nice too. I love the Clipper decal they have here. They just nailed the vibe on this ship. It's a total vibe ship. 26.5 meters in length, so pretty short. To give you an idea, Cutlass Black is 38 meters long. So this is a short ship. This is a really short ship. 50 meters wide while its wings are extended, 18 meters wide when landed. I know some people had some questions about if we'll do a landed version of this for Fleet Viewer. I think that is the plan. I don't want to talk for my good buddy VMXEO in chat, but we did one for the Corsair. We'll probably try to do it for the Clipper. Just because we know you like to see if it'll fit on the pads. Crusader Maximilian says, question, Graham, I currently have a Kraken privateer in buyback. Do you think it's actually worth me going for the Kraken regular and staying up until 4 a.m., or should I just stick with a privateer? I think you're probably good to stick with a privateer, Maximilian, primarily because I think the regular Kraken will come out first, and any privateer owner will get the regular Kraken as a loaner. That's what I think will happen. So. The ship carries 12 SCU of cargo, has 4 size 3 pilot-controlled weapons, obviously, and then it has a whole bunch of missiles. So 4 size 1s. It has 3 size 3 racks, 2 size 3 racks, and then 3 size. That's so confusing. I have to look at what that is. I mean, I could see the missile layout here on the ship, but I got to look into that. Dullwiz has reached a 5-stream streak. Thank you, Dullwiz. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for the follows. We're doing really good on our follower goal. If we get another 16 followers, we'll hit another milestone. So thank you very, very much. Great turnout tonight. 163 on YouTube, 222 on Twitch. Amazing. Amazing. So those are the paints. Obviously, you can get the ship. Oh, okay, it's 135 war bond. I actually think that's a really good deal for this ship. I do think that's a really good deal for that ship, and you're going to get the regatta paint with it. If you get the concierge version, you get the regatta and the cerulean paint with it. $150 with credit though, which again, the more I think about it, I do think that's a pretty good deal. Again, you can also buy the paint packs, no surprise there. And then, of course, the Clipper has the CCU upgrade path that you can do as well. Okay. I don't know when the next Kraken wave is. I do not have the waves information up on me, but maybe someone in chat can post when the next wave will be in like UTC time or something, and then you can convert that for your own time. I thought we would watch the behind the scenes or the behind the ships episode on the Clipper. I have not seen it yet, and I would like to, so we're going to watch it. Here we go. Hopefully the volume is not too bad. Here we go.
There's a lot of gameplay loops in Star Citizen. There's mining, salvage, cargo, piracy, and a whole host of combat roles ranging from large capital ships which require a huge crew down to the single-player fighters, with more coming online over the next year. There's a lot of players that specialize in each of those roles, and there's ships that are dedicated to those roles. But there's also a lot of players that sort of don't want to be put in a box, and they just want to leave themselves open to whatever happens in the verse. We refer to this as the generalist playstyle, and we have a few ships that sort of fit into that role, such as the Cutter and the Corsair. But we felt there was an ideal space in the middle to introduce a new ship, and that's the Drake Clipper. The Drake Clipper is the jack of all trades, the master of none, really.
So it's the Jared of spaceships.
It is Drake's answer to the ship that does a little bit of everything. And it's really there for the person that wants to go out, explore, but without needing to bring along friends. It is Drake's solo ship for the person that just wants to go and see what the universe has to offer.
The Clipper is that silhouette that everyone has been hankering for from CitizenCon 2024, the large, vertical, multi-positioned wing Drake ship.
We had a few different ideas that we tried, and we ended up with one that was very thin and narrow that CR quite liked, and we saw it as like a stepping point between the Cutter and the Corsair, as like the middle ground between.
I go ahead and tell you that CR still has that hands-on approval of these ships, which is really interesting. He's definitely not checked out of approving ships, which If I was CR, I'd be right there with them, and I would want to see every new ship concept.
Between those, it just looks straight. You look at it and you know.
Very little has changed from the concept to the final ship. I think some parts of it we had to like stretch and make smaller or make bigger.
Yeah, they do.
But it was very easy to work from.
So really, you just copied Late's work.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
From the outside, I think the first thing you kind of notice when you walk up to it is just how tall it is. The role we wanted it to have, we wanted it to be able to do loads of different stuff, but we wanted to keep it within a really small solo footprint. And so what we decided to do was build on its height.
I love its like top profile it has, where you can probably see the difference in shape of the wings. I think it looks cool.
The shapes, like there is a lot of angular shape in the design. In the side, we have 3 thruster and big twin engines in the rear.
It makes
love the
it
front.
seem so brutish because it's so simple. It's just massive engines shoved on wherever they could find them, and it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's just big and it goes.
There's a bit of weirdness to it. It's got that Drake thing where it's not symmetrical. It looks a bit ungainly and weird, but I really like how it's all come together.
I will say, yeah, someone brought it up. Kobad Shaw says small footprint for the Kraken. And I think that with the Corsair and this ship, the fact that their wings fold up, not just for landing, but it's going to give these ships an incredibly small footprint on the Kraken's deck. And I think that will be a huge advantage between these ships and the Kraken just from a synergy standpoint. You'll be able to get a lot of those on the deck if for some reason you wanted that.
The scissor mechanism of the lift features a pure industrial, functional approach. It's very cool to see it in a ship.
And despite its utility, it's no slouch in the offensive department.
VM, what did you think of that scissor lift? Oh, VMXEO says the Clipper spawns at outpost vehicle pads too. Okay, that is kind of amazing. I didn't know that. That's incredible. Diggable, hope you're doing well, buddy.
Either. Typical to Drake, it comes with 4 size 3s for its actual weapons, as well as a number of missiles to fire at your opponents.
So going up the ramp, you enter into the cargo bay, and that is literally the bottom floor of the ship.
The ramp is go down in the front side, and you can see in the side where ramp it joins really nice details, fans, and some very big hydraulics. And in the cargo, in the ceiling, nice detail there, really nice pipes, and
love the Drake vibe
there. It can hold 10 to 12 SCU.
The biggest box you can get in here is realistically a 2 SCU box, but it's really ideal for single 1 SCU boxes. Then at the rear of the cargo room is the ladder up to the mid-deck. At the top of that ladder, you enter into the lower sort of engineering component room area.
I think engineering for me, it makes it feel hot, it makes it feel sweaty, it makes it feel like there's a lot of stuff going on to make it function, and I think we've kind of captured that quite well in engineering. I think there's a lot of subtle movement going on. We've tried to make it kind of as immersive as we can so that when you're in there, I think the lighting complements it, the movement complements it, you know, the audio complements it. It feels like you're in the heart of the machine.
Love
the
engineering
deck is split between 2 floors because of the...
I'm just going to say, I hope CIG takes the look of engineering here with the big glowing super hot engines and transfers that to the Ironclad, to the Kraken, but just on a huge scale. I think the Kraken and the Ironclad could be some of the coolest engineering areas we've seen on a game or seen in the game, so I really hope they translate that well.
narrow shape of the ship. The only way to the top deck is a ladder. We couldn't get the components down the ladder. So we've implemented basically a fun little trapdoor in the engineering room that you move the components through with like a tractor beam. There's a big clunky lever that you pull and the trapdoor just swings open, so don't stand on it when you pull the lever.
And then going forwards from that, you enter into the medical bay.
Love the look of this.
It's Drake's take on what a medical bay should be. If I'm honest, the inspiration from it for me was more of a sort of like a butcher's room.
It has got red wine-colored floor. It looks very heavy duty and like industrial.
And a lot of people were a little bit like, do we want a med bay to have a red floor? Because normally, medical bays they're clean, they're clinical. But for me, Drake's take on a medical bay is there's a bit of blood on the floor. Well, I wanted it to feel a little bit like it was somewhere you'd use as a last resort rather than somewhere that you'd be happy waking up.
Remember, we're going to get a medical bay in the Kraken. This is something CIG has said that they are going to add. We had never seen, beyond the Cuddy Red, we really haven't seen what a proper Drake medical room would look like. This is our first peek at that. And I imagine in the Kraken, we'll have this with more like 3 beds. But this gives you an idea of where Drake is going, or where CIG is going with that Drake aesthetic being applied to like a medical room.
The Clipper has a tier 3 medical bed in the med bay.
Makes sense.
This is great for healing minor injuries as well as short distance regeneration.
It gives you that little bit of a safety net, truly making it one of the best ships for someone to fly on the roll.
You then have a room that is dedicated to the crafting machine.
With all the features not aligned yet, you'll be able to make stuff on the fly while actually inside the vessel. And obviously, with the fabricator integrated into the actual ship itself, it isn't a case of choosing whether you want more cargo storage or the fabricator. You get best of both worlds.
The habitation room in the Creeper does not care about luxury or comfort. You'll see too much exposed mechanical components, pipes, wires, and no frills in general.
And then at the very top front, you have the traditional Drake cockpit, featuring very angular designed cockpit glass and a sort of seat and dashboard setup you'll be familiar with.
It feels quite contemporary. There's a lot of push buttons, there's a lot of glowing lights. The screens are kind of slightly curved, so it's got like that kind of nod back to old CRT screens, and we just wanted it to feel quite analog, or as much as we could in a modern spaceship.
Love it. Drake really does have some of the best lo-fi dashboard setups that I've seen. Hey, it's Citizen Spooner. Citizen, hope you are doing well, buddy. How are things? How have your streams been lately? I really appreciate you stopping by. Everyone, make sure you give Citizen Spooner a little bit of love if you haven't been over to his channel. He does obviously incredible content. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Can I do a, let's see. Let's see if this works. Yep, there it is. A little shout out to Citizen Spooner. Spooner, hope you're well, buddy. Hope you're well. We're just watching stuff on the behind the ships on the Clipper.
The cockpit in the Creeper is quite spacious.
Yeah, I do
and
too.
It gives the pilot a wonderful panoramic view thanks to its large glass cage.
I remember when we were doing the concept, it was kind of like an early idea, and we were umming and ahhing about as to like where we wanted the cockpit to be, and then as soon as we saw it up at the front, it just kind of worked.
That's cool.
It's a Drake ship, it's always a fan favourite. The detail and the interest that we get to do with Drake means that they're always great fun to actually work on.
Very happy with it. It's another great Drake ship that just sort of adds to their lineup, and when you look at it, you can tell it's a Drake ship.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'll leave that up to you to decide whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, do you know, I'm going to say it, and I think it's my favourite ship this year for IE. No offence to any of the other ships that we're doing.
So there you go. John and Ben talking, obviously. John playing the dispassionate father of all of them. He loves all the ships. Ben proclaiming it's his favorite ship of IAE. I would agree with that. I would think that Citizen Spooner says the team smashed this. I agree. I think this is a great ship. It's sort of two things going on. From the Perseus side of things, I think CIG did, again, it's the new high watermark in ship design. The aesthetics, the attention to detail, it does play its role well, but just in terms of look, feel, both inside and out, the Perseus is the high watermark. But for the most useful ship, to the most players, I'm going to give that award to the Clipper here. The solo player is probably the most. We probably have more solo players than any other type of player, and this is the perfect ship for them. I have no doubt. Going to something VMXEO said in chat, which I think was good. I have no doubt we're going to see other versatile ships coming, hopefully from Consolidated Outland and Misk and some of those others. I would really like to see that. Or if some of their existing ships get changed more to a versatile role, maybe they'll get some additional things added to them, crafting machines, medical bed, whatever. But yeah, so Drake Clipper, everyone. Exciting new ship from Drake. Really, really exciting. Again, we're giving away one of these tonight. So if you want to try to get in on that giveaway, we'll be giving it away real soon too. If you want to get in on that, if you're on Twitch, you need to do exclamation ticket or exclamation ticket space max. Okay. If you're on YouTube, you need to go to the link pinned to top of chat. It goes to my new player guide video. You need to leave a comment on that video. I'm going to pull both of those winners, put them in the random wheel of names, and then whoever wins that will win the Clipper. Zenith says, question, do you think they will update all the old ships to come close to the level of ship dressing we saw in the Perseus and Clipper? Yes and no. I think some ships are going to get that and some ships are not, unfortunately. I just don't think some ships are appropriately set up for that without a major rework. Real quick, everyone, do not forget, we got that Perseus giveaway going on. That will be drawn on December 2nd, live on stream. There's the Gleam.io link. You want to get in on that if you haven't already. Giving away an RSI Perseus with 120 months insurance. Get in on that Gleam.io giveaway, okay? It's free to enter, by the way. The fire behind me just popped. Yikes. If you want to continue to support me, Starjump Grim, with Starjump content, Fleet Viewer, other projects and stuff that I start and get involved in. But if you want to support what I do, feel free to donate at my coffee link as well, which is just posted there in chat. You don't have to, of course, but if you ever feel so inclined. All right, the next ship we're going to talk about is the Drake Gollum Ox. Now, I will be giving one of these away, but I've decided I'm going to give it away on the Perseus December 2nd stream. Okay, so you can't enter this one yet, but if you're trying to get in on a Gollum Ox giveaway, I'm going to do that on the Perseus giveaway night so that we have two ships to give away. Okay, so let's talk about the Gollum Ox. Cargo Beast, a workhorse for the workforce. The interesting thing about the Drake Gollum Ox is it is a really small ship, but is able to carry up to 64 SCU on such a small frame. And that really, to me, that really puts this in a different place. Now, as a competitor to the Hull A, yes, the Hull A can carry 64 SCU of cargo, but it can't carry 32 SCU crates. And that's the special thing here with this ship, is it can carry two 32 SCU crates. So Rec Gaming says, do you think CIG purposely did not want the Atlas to fit in the cargo bay, maybe not to give it too much ability, or was it simply a design decision? I think that CIG sometimes just can't account for every single will it fit scenario. I think you can get a pulse in there, but I think it's just hard for CIG to account for every little what if and edge case, unfortunately. So Gollum Ox, it's the ship that can carry two 32 SCU cargo crates, and I think that is, like I said, pretty special. It's an extension of the Gollum platform we've already seen. It is a true variant, so all the Gollum paints will work on this, by the way. But the ship is probably a ship that will receive more variants in the future. At least it looks that way when you go back and you look at the Gollum concepting artwork. It looked like CIG was experimenting with a bunch of different platforms. So platforms for the Gollum. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here to the paints. I wanted to go ahead and get to that real quick. So we have the factory standard, which already looks great on its own. Kudos to CIG. This is a fantastic paint. But we also got the Strong Heart, which is the red and black. Again, pretty standard for Drake lineups to have a red and black one. Gray Steel, which is sort of the chrome look, which I dig a lot. The Cipher, which has the blue and the black with the caution. Really, really nice. Actually kind of looks like an RSI paint for like the Zeus or the Salvation. And then Sunstruck, which is, I actually really like that color combo. That's really, really nice. It works well on that ship. So yeah, a couple different paint jobs that all look really nice. Actually, I don't think there's any here that are bad. ACTCAT says, do the paints work across the Gollum variants? Yes, they do, because it is a variant. That is one of CIG's sort of factors in if something is a variant or not, as if those paints will work. Ship is 15.5 meters long, so pretty darn small, 10 meters wide, 64 SCU of cargo can be carried, 1 tractor beam utility mount, which they show it is mounted in the rear. Really cool application there. And it's got 2 size 1 pilot guns and 2 size 1 missiles. Again, all pilot control because it's a single player ship. Now, one thing I did want to say is the Sunstruck paint is a Chairman's Club paint, okay? So you can only get that one if you're concierge. And the Cipher paint is the limited time only paint. The Cipher paint to me is one of the better paints anyway, and that is the limited time. So that's probably a good one to pick up if you're interested. Now, obviously, the ship is for sale, $80, which does make it competitive with other ships that carry the same amount of cargo. So from that standpoint, I think we're good. Mr. Sinkhole says still thinks the Hull A is a better option. I think that's totally fine. Totally fine assessment to make. Again, it's going to come a little bit down to just personal preference. Obviously, the Hull A has an interior, which is a big deal to some people, while this one can carry 32 SCU crates. So you kind of get the option, the choice there. Galanthius says, question, what is the website you're using for this? It is the Robert Space Industry website. It's this website right here is the website we're browsing. So yeah, the ship, $80 war bond. And you can get the duo pack, which comes with the regular Gollum or the Gollum Ox, which is kind of nice. So $80 for the war bond, and the what's the ship for credit? If it's $80 war bond, what's the credit version? Oh, 90. So 90 with credit. You can get the duo pack. Obviously, they have the paint packs there. Price wise, again, I think it's solid. I don't mind the price that they're landing at with the Gollum. So no issues there. Again, what's the Hull A price actually? What's the Hull A current price? Does anyone know offhand without me looking it up? I know someone in chat will know. Hull A is 90. Okay, so it makes sense. We're right in that target. So it carries the same amount of cargo. It does one thing better than the Hull A, but the Hull A also has an interior over the Gollum's non-interior. So again, I think it's good. Raft is 96 now, was originally. So the Hull A is going to go up in price, though, they said. So the Hull A is probably going to go up in price after IAE. So let's remember that. So from a pure price efficacy standpoint, or a price efficiency standpoint, this is probably still the better way to go because it still carries a 64 SCU of cargo. It's going to come in at a cheaper price point at $90. Again, you're just not getting that interior, which I think is fine because I could see this ship working well. If you're solo running this ship, you're not doing things such long distance that you're going to need that interior. At least I don't think so. We are going to want, and then obviously there is the upgrade path for it. Now, don't forget, make sure you follow the channel. We will be doing a giveaway for this on December 2nd, along with our Perseus giveaway. Okay, but we're going to watch the behind the ships, and then we're going to do the Drake Clipper giveaway. So everybody stay tuned. Let's go ahead and watch them talk about the Gollum Ox. 4 minutes long.
One of the tenets of Drake as a manufacturer is from time to time they look at their existing catalogue of ships and go, can we make something with this that serves a different purpose? Whilst other manufacturers would dedicate the time and resources into making a whole new, shiny, latest, greatest ship, Drake is all about maximizing value and extracting every single possible ounce of use out of their existing ships. whether that's the Cutlass, having the medical red version of it from the base Cutlass Black, or from the Cutter spawning into the Rambler and Scout versions. Earlier this year, Drake introduced the Golem, their starter mining ship, and now they've upgraded it into the Gollum Ox, a dedicated cargo hauler.
The Gollum Ox is a variant on the Golem chassis from Drake. What we've done with it is we have removed everything that is unique to the Golem for mining, and we've repurposed that chassis into something that is a little bit more functional for cargo carrying.
It's the smallest ship that can carry a 32 SCU container, and it can also carry 2 of them.
By the way, everyone, if you have not followed the channel over on Twitch, we are 10 followers away from our next milestone, so make sure you hit the follow button. If you're over on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, the thumbs up, all that good stuff.
At the same time,
it can fit up to 32 SCU containers, but it's not exclusively 32 SCU containers. You could fit 64 individual ones or any combination between 1 SCU and 32 SCUs.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you very much for those follows. Tech Anomalous, thank you for that subscription. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for those follows, everyone. That is very soon going to get us up to our next milestone. You're all incredible. Appreciate it.
The Gollum Ox maintains the majority of the original Drake Golem chassis with a dedicated cab at the front just for the player to sit in and fly. And then they've widened the rear superstructure to support carrying the 2 32 SU containers.
We buffed up the size of the thrusters, and we've removed the big mining arm on the top, and instead we've replaced that with additional fuel tanks.
We've also slapped a deploying tractor beam turret on the rear, so that you can attach and detach cargo from the cockpit. It's got a little camera on the tractor beam, so you can see from the back view attaching and detaching cargo.
Cool.
So we've got a little bit more fuel, we've got bigger thrusters, we've got twice the cargo carrying capacity in something that is still a very, very small footprint.
It's quite nippy for its size. With the tractor beam on the back, you can quickly zoom in, grab some like loose cargo, and then zoom out. So it could be like useful to like recover valuables during combat situations.
As with all things Drake, it was built for a purpose, and then what we've done is we've kind of giving it an additional functionality, an additional role, without having to kind of start from the ground up, which to me feels very Drake in terms of their kind of ethos of how they build ships.
The Gollum Ox is a variant of the Golem, so it shares paints with the base ship and comes with new paints that will be cross-compatible with original Golem owners. So there's lots of cool customization options available for Golem and Gollum Ox owners now.
The Golem seems to take paint better than anything else. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they did when they made it, but the Golem paints just hit differently.
I think the Golem paints are probably successful because Drake as a whole have a little bit more of a rustic feel to them. There's a little bit more aging and character in the material surface finishes, which really help when we then start putting on some quite vibrant, quite bright paints onto it. And they kind of contrast really well with the main kind of Drake framework underneath. It looks quite striking, and I think generally Drake ships take paints pretty well.
I would agree.
Very happy with the ship. I think it's been something a lot of players have asked for when they saw the original Golems, like why don't we do this with it? And so we're happy to introduce that.
Could there be more Golem variants in our future?
Here we go.
I would say it's probably not off the cards that we wouldn't do more Golem variants in the future, just because the ship is very cool and versatile. Medical Golem.
Ooh. A medical golem would be really cool, actually. If I had to guess, though, I would think something more like a refueling golem or even a repair golem. Imagine the future when we do have full-on repair gameplay and it has some sort of beam that it can do repair. That would be really cool too. It'd have a big tank in the back that holds the repair materials and stuff. So a repair golem seems obvious. Either repair or refuel, I think, would be the most interesting. Medical would also probably be really interesting. So those three I think are the most interesting. Salvage obviously makes sense, but we have the Vulture, but I could see there being a salvage Golem. That obviously does make sense. Um, okay, everybody, we are getting close to doing our Clipper giveaway. I do have a few questions here. If you want to get in on some, if you want to get in on some questions, go ahead and put those into chat right now. I will try to grab them. Paratrooper says, "Do we think the cat getting modified to carry 32 SCU crates? I hate how it went. I can't. I hate how it can't. I wish they would remove two bulkheads making." So essentially, you're asking if the Caterpillar will get changes to it that would allow it to carry 32 SCU crates. And um, here's what I think. I think when we do get the pass on the Caterpillar, when CIG does that pass, I think that's going to be one of the primary goals is to allow the ship to carry those 32 SCU crates. Um, I'm speculating here, obviously, but I think that is going to be one of the goals. Yeah. Ohio Medic says 5037. Or Ohio Medic 5037 says, "I'm wondering if they're going to increase the cargo size of the Hull A." I tell you, it really makes you wonder um, why the Hull A is going up in price if it carries the same SCU as the Golem, unless CIG considers that interior that much more valuable than the ability to carry those 32 SCU crates, right? So that's kind of the sticking point there. Um, Paratrooper says, anyone want that gantry removed from the interior and mounted to the top of the ship so you can walk to front of ship from walking on top exterior?" I'm assuming you're talking about the Caterpillar. I would say you're talking about the gantries in the Caterpillar. Let me know if that's what you meant. Seymour Brown Eye says, "Question: Any idea on the Hull B status? We know it's in gray box, right? It's in gray box now. I was hoping we would get some sort of ship discussion show for IAE, and we might get that next week, but maybe where they would update us on the Hull B's status, but nothing yet. But we do know it's in development in gray box. Tina Voidfair, question: Do you think they will redo the cutter hab area to match the Clipper? Maybe. It's doubtful though because the cutter is so new, but it's very possible at some point in the future they will, but I don't think anytime soon. Simto Gaming says, "Do you think the leaked Hermes could actually be the Argo medium salvage ship?" I think if it is anything, it's probably some sort of Apollo variant, to be quite honest with you. But we'll have to see. That's where I'm leaning currently, though. No sign that it's an Argo medium salvage ship, though. Can a Clipper board in a Corsair? Nope, it cannot. Question from the Tina Voidfair: Do you think they will redo the? Okay, I just got that one. Okay, I think I got the questions. Is it time for a Clipper giveaway? Who wants to do a Clipper giveaway? Bring the Boom says, question: Do you think the Golem will be useful in the Kraken to move around the 32 SCU around in the level? I think that Kraken's going to have some massive tractor beams inside of it to move cargo internally. I think Atlas mechs will be your best bet inside the Kraken. So. One more question here, and then we're going to do the giveaway. Hudson Hawk says, question: Mr. Graham, is the RSI Apollo launch article, or in the RSI Apollo launch article, there's a striking image of soldiers in a med bay covered in blood. Do you think they'll actually include that level of gore in the game? You know, normally I would say no, but the only thing that gives me some pause that CIG may do that is during the Star Engine trailer, they did show the ability for sweat and other things to be and some blood to be done on the character, and they kind of emphasize that as an engine feature. But on the floor and the surrounding areas, I'm not 100% sure. The only reason I would say no is I do know that they are trying to appeal to the Chinese market, and the Chinese market does have some limitations on that, I believe. I don't want to speak out of turn. Maybe some of our Chinese fans can comment on that, but I do think they would have to be careful of that in some markets. Okay. I don't think Star Citizen is hurt by not having it, though. I don't think it's that big of a thing. All right, everybody, we're going to do the Clipper giveaway. It is time. You know it's time. We're going to bring over a couple things here. We're going to bring over the random wheel of names, our YouTube comment picker, and we're bringing over stream elements. Let's go ahead and hit refresh on these. We're going to do the YouTube thing first, everybody. So hopefully you got your YouTube comments in. If you're over on YouTube, again, we had an amazing group tonight, 180 on YouTube. The YouTube community is kicking ass. YouTube, thank you all. I really appreciate you. Twitch, we have 274. We did hit my next follower milestone, so thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. You're all incredible. It is time to do the random YouTube comment picker. We're going to refresh again here, and we're going to go to advanced options and go to the after date, and we're going to set today. We started streaming at 8:30. We actually started streaming at 8:24. So we're going to go to 8:24. Okay, we'll do 8:23. That's fine. So 8:23. Oops, no, why is it on 7? We started doing it. It's 8:23. There we go. And we're going to pick a random comment. Good luck to you all. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, whoever wins the Clipper, you do need to contact me on Discord where I will verify it's you. Also, I'll go ahead and tell you that you will not get the Clipper right away. CIG will be providing the Clipper, and I'll be getting that here in the next couple of days. Okay, so you be patient on it, but it will come. It will come. You'll have it by the time IAE is over for sure. Okay, hopefully it's as soon as tomorrow, but I will get you a Clipper. Okay, do not worry about that. It just may be a slight delay. Usually I try to do these giveaways right after, like as soon as the ship is won by someone, I usually gift it to them within 30 minutes. There'll be a slight delay on this one just because this is a CIG provided ship and it has yet to land in the hangar, but it will. CIG has already said that it will, so no worries there. Here we go, everybody, picking a random comment. And if CIG doesn't, then I will give you a Clipper out of my own. See here, no thanks. Okay, there we go. Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk. Oh, Hudson Hawk is in chat. I know Hudson's in chat. Hudson, congratulations. You're the first name on the list. I know Hudson Hawk's in chat. Hudson, are you there? There he is. Nice. So you are the random comment pulled from YouTube. So we have pulled you. You are now in the wheel of names, buddy. Congratulations. All right, everybody. We're swinging over to stream elements now. We're going to do a refresh here. We have quite a few tickets purchased because we have an incredible turnout on Twitch tonight. Absolutely amazing. By the way, everyone, we were really close to our partner qualification, and then suddenly the analytics went backwards and I lost progress. I emailed Twitch support. Hopefully they're working on it and is going to figure it out. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for getting the Twitch numbers up. It's incredible. I do really appreciate it. Again, you all are amazing. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and close the giveaway. Okay, and we're going to draw a winner. Here we go, everybody, in 3, 2, 1. Stand by. Where's the winner? Why isn't it populating? Oh, there's the winner right here. Marco Haller. It puts it at the bottom now. It used to put it at the top. Marco Haller, are you in chat? Marco Haller, are you in chat? Say hello if you are. Say hello if you are. Marco Haller, are you in chat? If Marco Haller wins and he's not in chat, he has 2 days to claim the prize or it will go to the next person, okay? It'll go to the next person. Marco Haller, are you in chat? Congratulations. Okay, here's how it works. This is how I do all my giveaways. If Marco Crawler wins, and he's not here, if he wins this spin, he'll have 2 days to contact me. If he doesn't win, it'll go to Hudson Hawk, okay? If Hudson Hawk wins, he wins because Hudson's here. Okay, here we go, everybody. We are spinning in 3, 2, 1. Good luck to whoever wins the Drake Clipper. There it is. Marco Haller. Marco Haller, are you there? Let's see here. Let's check again. Okay. Oh, no, I did it wrong. Okay, Mako Haller has 2 days to claim the prize. 2 days to claim the prize. If he doesn't claim it, then Hudson Hawk, you will be the winner at that point, okay? And I will reach out to tell you just that. So again, 2 days to claim this prize. That means it is the 22nd. So on the 24th, if Macro Hauler has not claimed it, it will go to Hudson Hawk, okay? And Hudson Hawk, contact me via Discord just so I can stay in contact with you in case Macro does not contact me, okay? Okay, everyone. Great. We're going to raid someone. We got to raid someone. It's been a fun night. I've been doing this on the remote path. You all hung in there, which was amazing. We're going to, on the Twitch side of things, we're going to raid someone that I hope you will give some Starjump love to you like you always do. We're going to raid Granny Q. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I will be streaming on Kruger. Was it Kruger Day? Yeah, Kruger Day. We might have an L22 Alpha Wolf. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Again, lots of giveaways coming. So thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate you. Salute to you all. We're going to raid Granny Q here on Twitch. Going to start the raid. Thank you very much, Feathers. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my vacation. Look, everyone, keep an eye on the calendar on Twitch and YouTube for more streams. Again, I really appreciate you all showing up tonight. Going to send you over to Granny. Salute to you all. Love you. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it.